SNTV Online. Huu ni wakati wetu. 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 SNTV Online.
Asante sana, tunaweza kuketi. Mheshimiwa Daktari Samia Suluhu Hassan, Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania, Mheshimiwa Sahle Zewde, Rais wa Jamhuri ya Shirikisho la Kidemokrasia la Ethiopia, Mheshimiwa Catherine Samba Panza, Rais mstaafu wa Jamhuri ya Afrika ya Kati. Mheshimiwa Joyce Banda, Rais mstaafu wa Jamhuri ya Malawi na kinara wa mtandao wa viongozi wanawake barani Afrika. Mheshimiwa Daktari Issa Toure, Makamo wa Rais mstaafu wa Jamhuri ya Gambia. Mheshimiwa Bineta Diop, mjumbe maalum wa Umoja wa Afrika anayeshughulikia masuala ya wanawake, amani na usalama. Mheshimiwa Mariam Mwenye, mke wa Rais wa Zanzibar. Waheshimiwa wake wa viongozi wa kitaifa waliopo madarakani na wastaafu. Mheshimiwa Mgeni Hassan, naibu spika wa Baraza la Wawakilishi Zanzibar. Mheshimiwa Mhandisi Zena Ahmed Saidi, katibu mkuu kiongozi Zanzibar. Waheshimiwa viongozi wakuu wastaafu mliopo mahala hapa. Waheshimiwa mawaziri kutoka pande zote mbili za muungano mliopo mahala hapa. Waheshimiwa makatibu wakuu wa pande zote mbili za muungano. Waheshimiwa viongozi waandamizi wa serikali pamoja na wakuu wa taasisi mliopo. Wageni wote waalikwa kutoka mtandao wa viongozi wanawake barani Afrika. Waandishi wa habari pamoja na mabibi na mabwana na wote mlioalikwa, assalamu alaikum. Karibu sana Mheshimiwa Rais Daktari Samia Suluhu Hassan katika mkutano huu mkubwa wa mtandao wa viongozi wa wanawake barani Afrika ambao umepata fursa ya kufanyikia hapa Zanzibar, Tanzania. Kwa kweli hii ni fursa kubwa sana kwa wanawake wa Tanzania, lakini kwa wanawake wote pia barani Afrika. Na awali ya yote kwanza Rais Daktari Samia, tunakupa heko na tunakupa kongole sisi wanawake wote barani Afrika kwa kutunukiwa shahada ya udaktari. Kwa kweli hii inakwenda kuleta chachu kwa wanawake wote wa Zanzibar, Tanzania na kote barani Afrika, kuhakikisha kwamba wanaona thamani ya kutunukiwa huku, lakini aidha wanawake wao nao kuona sababu ya kurudi madarasani, basi na wao kutafuta shahada hii ya PhD. Asante sana baada ya ufunguzi huu na kukaribisha mahala hapa pamoja na wageni wetu wote ambao wamehudhuria mkutano huu mkubwa unaoshirikisha wanawake viongozi barani Afrika. Basi sasa moja kwa moja naomba nimwalike kiongozi wa program hii kutoka Uganda. Yeye huyu si mwingine ni Baby Thelma Awori. Please, Thelma Awori, I'm inviting you and the floor is yours, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you to our MC for doing all of the protocols. Now I can just say all protocols observed. And to greet our excellencies who are here and to greet all of you. First of all, we are in Africa, so it's important that you also greet and that you know how to greet here in the language of this nation. And I want to make sure that you know how to at least greet a Tanzanian when you see one. This language that's here is a fundamental language for Africa. So if you are here, this is your great opportunity to learn how to do so. So I'm going to call up Doreen and Edith. Where are you? Come and show us how to greet properly in Kiswahili in the morning, because they have to learn how to greet. Do you agree, Mama Samia? Yes, good.
All protocols observed. Because I am young, I'm going to say shikamo, and you will say marahaba. All protocol observed. I'm Edith Samke, youth representative, all in from Tanzania. Like my friend said, because I'm young, shikamo, then for the oldest will reply marahaba. Then good morning, and the response, how we say it in Kiswahili is habari za asubuhi, nzuri sana. So if you are many, then you meet you say habari za asubuhi. But if you are one or two, habari ya asubuhi. Nzuri sana. Nzuri sana is very good. So we will say habari za asubuhi, and you will say nzuri sana. Habari za asubuhi.
Very good. I want to hear you say that. Thank you, ladies. I want to hear you say, this side will say habari za asubuhi, and that side will say what? Wonderful, you're great students. At least when you go home, that's how you should greet people and teach them, because Kiswahili is a very important language in Africa. It's an AU language. Yes, that's right. So now I'm going to call on my co-director, Dr. Cindy Zemura, who will come and take us through the program for the day so we know what is going on.
Good morning, Mama Thelma. Did you sleep well?
You need to say it in Kiswahili.
I'm going to have to learn that. Good morning, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. As I've been introduced, my name is Dr. Cindy Zemura. I am one of the Island Young Women Pioneers based in the diaspora. I'm also the founder of Southern Africa Embrace Foundation. It's my pleasure and honor to be your program director for today, along with my co-program director. We did this 4 years ago in Nairobi. That's right. And we're back here today. We promise you we'll treat you well. It's also my pleasure to get us going, to respect the time. I would like to call upon one of the young women leaders in the room today. Unfortunately, Dr. Joanne Bewa, who is the chair and representative of the Young Women's Caucus in Ireland, could not make it. But we have a young lady who will come up just for 3 minutes, please, to set the tone and get us going. Please, warm welcome to Ms. Deborah Nyamunda.
Deborah, where are you? Oh, good. There she comes. And it will be in French, so please put on your écouteurs if you don't speak French.
And let's give a warm welcome. Young ladies in the room, welcome one of your own. Come on, let's do it.
Merci pour la parole. Excellence, Madame la Présidente de la République de Tanzanie. Excellence, Madame la Présidente de la République d'Éthiopie. Excellence, Madame l'ancienne Présidente du Malawi. Excellence, Madame Diop. Honorable Excellence, Mesdames et Messieurs, en vos titres et qualités respectifs, bonjour. Je voudrais, au nom du caucus de jeunes femmes, vous remercier pour avoir organisé cette retraite de travail en synergie avec nos seniors, dans la continuité de faire participer les jeunes suivant la résolution 2250 des Nations Unies qui stipule que la résolution du Conseil de sécurité souligne l'importance d'une pleine participation active des jeunes dans des conditions d'égalité, à la prévention, à l'économie et au règlement de conflits, ainsi qu'à l'édification et au maintien de la paix. Elle appelle les États membres à faire en sorte que le jeune participe pleinement sur un pied d'égalité avec les hommes et les femmes à tous les efforts visant à maintenir la paix, au développement, à la favorisation de la paix et la sécurité et invite instamment tous les acteurs à accroître la participation de jeunes. Voilà pourquoi nous sommes fiers de votre mentorship envers nous, votre pépinière du réseau, à travers qui vous nous poussez et nous poussez à faire un menu en même temps sur votre table pour faire développer le continent de l'Afrique, tout en faisant participer les femmes dans les postes de prise de décision. Je ne serai pas si longue, j'ai fini par dire merci et nous souhaite tout bon travail. Merci.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now we are going to proceed with our program with some interventions. The first intervention will be by Her Excellency, the former President of Liberia, who opened the door for women at this high level of leadership. And we are always honored to have her. She is the patron of our land. And we expect to see her on this screen here. So could we have the video of greetings from Her Excellency President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf of Liberia, who I'm sure is very sad that she cannot be here. We were together in Dakar with Binta and a few others, but she hasn't been well. But she's doing very well for her age. And we are happy that she can still participate with us when, whenever she can, even if it's virtual. So could we have the video? She's online now? It's coming. There she is. Good morning, Ellen.
I should say, Dr. Suluhu Hassan, as I learned with great delight that you have received a well-deserved honoris causa degree from the University of Dar es Salaam. My warm congratulations. Excellency, my sister, Sally Walks, President of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia. Excellency, my sister, Joyce Banda, former President. Excellency, my sister, Catherine Samba Banda, former interim President of Central African Republic. I also greet in absentia Her Excellency my sister Amina Aken, former President of the Republic of Mauritius. Mama Mangela, our source of wisdom, warm greetings. Chief Justice Misa Asheninapi, Secretary General of the United Nations, Amina Mohammed, my dear younger sister, Deputy Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Dr. Monique Asana Bakanwa, as Special Envoy Bineta Diop, for whom I've had officers, the resident coordinator, and all members of the UN family. And all of you distinguished sisters of all generations gathered in Zanzibar. I hope we have some distinguished brothers with us. Thank you for being here. There have been many times in the past when I have that I could be involved in one place at the same time. This is definitely one of those. My deep apologies to you, my sister Samia in particular, and to all gathered in beautiful Zanzibar. As some of you know, I've had some health issues during this past year. I've had to curtail international travel for a little bit longer. But I do look forward to the next opportunity to be with you by God's grace. One of the reasons, among many others, that I wish I were there is that there will be so many young women leaders who are already showing the way to a different and even different ways of leading. I intend to continue to learn. I recommend this as a life lesson. The strength of AWLN is the membership of all ages, all parts of societies, all leadership levels, and all countries of the continent. Even if do not yet have formal chapters, AWLN must renew itself as time goes on. The young will lead, and we will provide the support, and we hope some wisdom to help them navigate their leadership. I'm proud to be the patron of our movement. It has grown tremendously and is now well respected, with convening power and a long advocacy reach. As the chapter grows in numbers, we must ensure that they also grow in capacity and resources. A continental secretariat is critical. This is just too much. and only a few persons who are trying to fill the gaps. My warm thanks to you, Vineta, to Fatu Sombi, to our NGI SEC, and to my Center Senior Advisor, Joyce Minsko. One of the things for discussion today is transforming the continent one leader at a time. I believe we are all familiar with the fact that there have been 2 positive masculinity summits held at the head of state level. At the second in Senegal a few weeks ago, I spoke about a few of my dreams. One, we should see at least 3 women elected presidents in the next 3 to 5 years. I'm so pleased that the current Deputy Prime Minister of Namibia has been re-elected as the Vice President of the ruling party and will be their presidential candidate for the 2024. Should she win, she will be the second woman president elected through the popular vote if another does not. I want to pay tribute to the leadership, Excellency Haj Yangok, the current president, who has ensured that women have been at the top tier ready to succeed. We also look forward with great anticipation to 2025, where I hope our own sister Samia will emerge victorious. Our dreams will then be on track. Getting women into top leadership is one of the keys to transform Africa. But leadership must be twinned with the tools to ensure peace and security. To protect the environment in our part of this fragile planet, ensure the health of government's data, use the natural resources judiciously and to development. Using the SDGs as our lodestar. But any dreams we have for the future, particularly those of young women, cannot be realized if we do not end the ongoing conflicts and prevent future ones. I know the bitter toll of war from the experience of my country. After the liberation struggles we had to be fought to gain independence, we need to turn a new page, one without blood and death, violence, guns. I repeat that, we must silence the guns. There are so many other issues I could speak on. Let me end on mentorship. Some of you may know that as soon as I handed over power to my successor, I launched the Ellen Johnson Study to promote and support equitable and women-led development. The main program is the Amuje Leader Initiative. We now have women who have been selected from across the continent for their leadership skills, scaling up the journey they are already on. Never have moved upwards in the past 3 years. Amuje means we are going up. Some of you in this room have provided mentorship to them, offering less to ensure that they skip over the traps and the fault lines. Thanks to you, the Amuje women have benefited. We are now in the process of constructing a larger physical center where women from the continent gather in the same way we are doing today. I believe that a stronger partnership between the center and EWLN will benefit both, and I hope to welcome many of you there very soon. Let me end by wishing all of you a wonderful and the outcomes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Madam President. Are you excited? There was so much information there. And what I'm very excited about is the speed with which this women's leadership is moving. I mean, can you imagine? We might add another one soon. This is wonderful. But remember what she said. We are not here just to meet in nice buildings and, enjoy ourselves. We have a job to do as women to transform this continent. So our leadership is not just about the position. It's about what you do when you get there and how you do it. So we have to keep that in mind. Now, one thing we have to keep in mind is that President Samia has another engagement, and we need to be very quick. So I'm going to call on Chido. I think that what we've done to ensure that we galvanize and mobilize the young women is extremely important, because our generation is getting off stage and the new generation is coming on, and we have to make sure that they are well prepared for what the challenges are, which she told us about. So where is Chido? Are you here? She's the new youth envoy. Congratulations for this post, Chido, at the AU.
Thank you very much. If you may allow me to respect time, I will speak on a radio observed protocol, but acknowledging our country host, Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the Republic of Tanzania, our Excellencies, all distinguished guests that are with us here today. Wow, what a time to be alive. When I look in this room, I see faces of resilience, women who have gone before us and paved the way, women who will come after us and have somewhere to start from building, because we've been enabled and empowered to also empower the future generation based on the decisions that have been made by the wonderful people in this room today. And I think they deserve a round of applause. Ladies, mothers, and sisters, and the gentlemen in this room, the future of Africa is in our hands. I greet you all this morning at the 4th Intergenerational Retreat for the African Women Leaders Network, running under the theme, African Young Women Led, mobilizing partnerships and pathways for economic empowerment, sustainability, and financial inclusion. Prior to the COVID-19 outbreak and ensuing labor market shock, young women were already facing disadvantaged in employment in a gender earning gap of 32.8% between the ages of 18 to 21 and 19% for an age group between the ages of 22 to 29. Young women are already facing discrimination. Young women are already facing so many challenges, and the pandemic economic impact has hit even harder on young women's employment. And a third of all young women, which were employed in various sectors, specifically looking at hospitality, leisure, and tourism, were also hit the most. Fueled by limited economic opportunities, increasing migration into packed urban areas, and staggering population growth rates, women are suffering the brunt of Africa's growing youth unemployment challenges. Issues such as to do with economic exclusion, financial systems that perpetuate their discrimination, limited participation in political and public life, lack of access to education and poor retention of girls in schools, gender-based violence, harmful cultural practices, exclusion of women from peace tables. Now, as champions, there is a great need to bring together voices of key actors in gender equality and women's empowerment arena, especially for us young women, to update and discuss critical developments in the field and assess the extent of implementation of commitments, which is why we're so excited for this platform that has been created for us today. Women in Africa make up 58% of the continent's self-employed population. However, women-owned businesses are particularly vulnerable to shocks, as most of them are informal and operate in less profitable sectors. Now, to protect women-owned firms from the effects of COVID-19, lines of credit and financing can provide much-needed liquidity to women entrepreneurs who are already less likely than men to access loans. For instance, in Ethiopia, the Women Entrepreneurship Development Project issued 23.3 million to women entrepreneurs in just its first calendar year, with 66% of recipients being the first-time borrowers. 3 years later, participants had increased their profits by an average of 40%, and this serves as best practice. There's so many other countries with such positive examples, but because of time, I can't get into detail, and I might have been just a little biased for someone who lives in Ethiopia. In Africa, women leaders and entrepreneurs have already proved in so many different ways to be really unstoppable in terms of how much progress they are driving and the inspiration they are giving to us all throughout the world. And going forward, including gender gaps as a key consideration when designing COVID-19 responses and recovery programs will be crucial to protecting women's lives and livelihoods. This critical juncture in the crisis response represents an opportunity for policymakers to not only lift the binding constraints to women's economic empowerment by improving women's access to critical resources, but also spur inclusive economic recovery across sub-Saharan Africa. As the African Union Chairperson's Youth Envoy, I would also like to acknowledge His Excellency Musa Faki Mohammed, quoting from his words from our previously held Aulin meeting that I had the honor to co-moderate with Mama Diop on the sidelines of the United Nations General Assembly in September. And he said, "It is my firm belief that the future is female. Women's leadership in multilateralism to promote inclusive development in times of crisis today is also essential for tomorrow." We need support and political commitments from the public sector, from our leaders in policy, from the private sector, and the international organizations. Because only if we join hands can we move forward to create the change that we want. And lastly, in closing, I would like to thank Mama Benita Diop, our Special Envoy of Women, Peace and Security. I would like to thank her for her support as she continues in making sure that us young women are truly represented, not only sitting on the table, but we're actually part of the main menu. And also given opportunities to sit with policymakers, creating an enabling environment to empower us to become leaders that will build a positive narrative for Africa. An Africa whose development is people-driven. An Africa that indeed will prosper. An Africa that will be developed. An Africa that we all want. And I thank you.
Thank you so much, Chido. You have very large footsteps to follow, but congratulations on taking this role. And I want to let you know that you have the support of the high table there and of all the women in this room. We trust you, young women. We know you can do this. And I can retire myself because I know you are there. And as you have said, yes, women are unstoppable. You can see where we are going. In no time, half the presidents in Africa will be women. Just wait. That's true. Yes. Now, I would like to call on the United Nations. United Nations is, well, we all know how important the United Nations is to us. But I'd just like to say that when we first started as women engaging with the United Nations, it was African women who demanded a space in the United Nations, created UNIFEM, and now we have gotten to the stage where all UN agencies they must make sure that they are paying attention to women. So we have the resident coordinator who makes sure that that is done. And I'd like to invite you, Mr. Milicic, to please come and give your remarks. Well, yes, you may. Yes.
Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. Your Excellency Sahle-Work Zewde, the President of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Excellencies, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Excellency Joyce Banda, Excellency Samba Panza, Excellency Isatou Touré, Mama Gertrude Mogela, Excellency First Lady Mariam Winnie, Your Excellency Bineta Diop, African Union Special Envoy on Women, Peace and Security, Honorable Ministers, Members of Parliament, Government representatives, representatives of the African Union, development partners, representatives of civil society, distinguished Africa Women Leader Network members, and invited guests. Good morning. Habari za asubuhi. Salam alaikum. Bonjour. Bon dia. It is my honor to be with you today on behalf of the United Nations in Tanzania in this critical discussion on how African women leaders can mobilize partnerships and pathways for economic empowerment, sustainability, and financial inclusion. I wish to congratulate the organizers and also all the women leaders here today for making this event possible and for bringing the 4th intergenerational retreat to Tanzania. Asanteni sana. Tanzania is indeed an excellent choice for this retreat. The country has made commendable progress in women's leadership with Her Excellency President Samia Suluhu Hassan as the head of state and government. Thanks to your leadership, Your Excellency, more women have been appointed to strategic leadership positions in key ministries, on strategic boards, and in the judiciary, where gender parity has almost been achieved. We congratulate Her Excellency and the entire government of the United Republic of Tanzania and for these significant achievements. Just a few months ago, we gathered in Dar es Salaam for the Women and Youth in Trade Conference, organized by the African Continental Free Trade Area, ACFTA Secretariat, and the United Nations in partnership with other stakeholders. We heard the voices of diversity of women and youth traders from all over the continent, sharing their experiences and their aspirations, the challenges that they need addressed, and the opportunities they would like to leverage. They called for increased capacity building on compliance to regulatory requirements, product standardization, existing opportunities, and strategies for value addition. They called for closing of digital gender divide, for greater access to finance and critical information needed for their businesses. They also called for more gender disaggregated data to better understand women and girls' realities. What also came out clearly was the need to support women and youth leaders and to take the necessary policy, programmatic, administrative, and financial measures to promote women and youth's full, equal, and meaningful participation in all decision-making processes related to their economic empowerment. There is a lot of compelling evidence that women are a powerful engine of economic growth and that investing in women's economic empowerment sets a direct path towards gender equality, poverty eradication, and inclusive, sustainable development. It is essential that women are engaged in addressing barriers related to their own advancements and in creating an enabling environment where they can fully take advantage of economic opportunities. This is how we will ensure that decisions are inclusive and reflect the needs of the entire population. In all this, intergenerational partnership and the role of youth is key. With more than 60% of Africa's population being below 25 years of age, ensuring the voices of youth, and especially young women, are heard and play a meaningful role in achieving transformative change has never been more important. Youth are constantly demonstrating what it means to be change makers, to think differently, to share power across generations, and to ensure an equitable and empowering agenda for all. I'm very pleased to see that many of the participants today and speakers are young people, and my hope is that the next generation of leaders, you will leverage on the available opportunities and intergenerational linkages provided within the Africa Women Leaders Network and similar networks and platforms. UN in Tanzania has been supporting women and youth for many years in many areas, including education, vocational and business skills, agriculture, value chain addition, access to markets and financing, and other areas. We also work with the government and other stakeholders to develop and review policies with the aim of assuring they pay special attention to the needs of women and youth. We are proud that Tanzania is one of the leaders of the Generation Equality Forum, Action Coalition, and Women's Economic Justice and Rights. We support the National Advisory Committee. We're equally proud to have been providing direct support to the Africa Women Leaders Network Tanzania chapter since its launch in 2020. It has been a great example of intergenerational leadership with a young and experienced leader at the realm of the chapter's steering committee. The UN in Tanzania remains committed to continuing our support to the network, to the economic empowerment of women, and to promoting women's and girls' inclusion in leadership and decision. We look forward to continuing our work together to build a future based on equality and dignity for all. Thank you very much. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much. The United Nations, I hope that we remember that the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations is an African woman, Amina Mohammed. And she is one of the promoters. She has the responsibility for making sure that the UN is on board with AULIN together with the AU. So we are very happy to note that the UN is always with us. And yes. And what? Oh, you have a speech from her. Oh. And that needs to be read as well? Yes, exactly. We didn't know that. So I'm very happy that I mentioned her and, and that you will come and give a statement because it's very important that we hear from her. And before you begin, I'd like to remind the audience that the first African woman Deputy Secretary General was from where? From Tanzania. Give a big round of applause for Tanzania. Yes, that's right. Is the speech very long?
No.
Okay.
I must say that I'm privileged to have stolen this opportunity of being here twice with these distinguished representatives and women leaders. Thank you. I will read the statement by Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations. Unfortunately, she was unable to be with us today. And I quote, Excellencies, Mama Samia Suluhu Hassan, Sahle Work Zaude, Joyce Banda, Samba Panza, pioneer leaders of the African Women's Leaders Network. Excellency Satu Toure, my sister Bineta Diop, distinguished guests, young women leaders, I wish I could be with you today. These meetings, and particularly the engagement with young women leaders, fill me with energy and hope. I'm confident that your deliberations will build on the progress we have made in the past few years. The journey of the African Women Leaders Network has been impressive. We have established 30 national chapters. Young leaders have launched a sustainable, innovative, and intergenerational mentoring platform. And women from this network have assumed new leadership roles, demonstrating the value of our collective efforts and mutual support. In 2019, we challenged the youth of this network to develop an agenda based on two key pillars: women's leadership and financial inclusion, and intergenerational dialogue. During the barazas and under the jacaranda trees, together with the elders, we had mutually enhancing discussions with young women. Mutually enriching discussions with young women. Together, we are developing a mentorship framework and structures that will propel young African women to leadership in various sectors of life. Together, we are demonstrating a new model of leadership, one based on solidarity, on learning from each other across generations. And together, we are contributing to building a more inclusive, equal, and just continent. None of this would be possible without the crucial leadership of our pioneer women, my sisters, whose shoulders I and so many others have stood on. To our young women, know that you can count on me, count on us to support you in building a brighter future. I congratulate you for another milestone and look forward to the deliberations of this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to just take half a second to ask the UN Women team to stand up so we can give them a round of applause, headed by UN Women, wherever you are. Yes. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. I see we also have UN AIDS in the house. Yes. Thank you very much for being here. Yes. Okay. Now we are going to move on to the AU, and the Deputy Secretary, Head of the Commission, is going to give us her presentation virtually. Yes? Is she going to? You're trying to get the sound? She has muted herself. Can she hear us? She can hear us? Could you please unmute yourself? I'm sure sometimes we mute ourselves because we don't want to interfere, and then we forget to unmute. Madam Nsansa Baganwa, can you hear us? And if you can, could you please unmute yourself so that we can hear you? Is she on now? Good. Wonderful. Good morning. We don't have too much time, so if you could just give us your word of greetings. Please proceed, yes.
Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania. Excellency Sahle-Work Zewde, President of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia. Your Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former President of the Republic of Liberia and the patron of the African Women Leaders Network. Excellency Joyce Banda, former President of the Republic of Malawi and Iolin pioneer. Excellency Catherine Samba Panza, former President of the Central African Republic and Iolin pioneer there. Excellency Amina Mohamed, Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations. Ms. Chido Mpemba, the sister of the African Union, who is also African Union Youth Envoy. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. It's a pleasure to be with you this morning. I'm also pleased to convey to you the greetings and congratulations of His Excellency Musa Faki Mahamat, Chairperson of the African Union Commission, whose message delivered yet in another Iolin event held in New York in September this year, yielded a hashtag, "The future is female." He congratulates you for organizing this high-level event, bringing together the continent's women leaders and youth. With a prominently young and female population, our continent needs initiatives such as Iolin. A network that seeks to nurture and consolidate women's participation in decision-making processes, and makes the economic and financial inclusion of women its cornerstone. It is important to remember that the key to economic growth in Africa is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship indeed is a major source of job creation in Africa. As we know, entrepreneurship in Africa, especially in the informal sector, is primarily female. Studies show that 1.6 times more African women and youth, 1.6 times more, are likely to become entrepreneurs and innovators compared to other demographic groups. Fostering economic inclusion, promotion and empowerment of women and youth, through support and development of entrepreneurship, is therefore, yeah, this is more than a necessity. That's why heads of state and the government of the African Union adopted the African Women's Decade. This Women's Decade 2020-2030 dedicated for financial and economic inclusion of women. So the objective of this decade is to promote gender equality by accelerating the financial inclusion and economic empowerment of women in alignment with our Agenda 2063 and the 2030 agenda. In the spirit of driving a coordinated, inclusive, and participatory continental effort, I was honored to launch the Women and Youth Financial and Economic Inclusion Initiative. This was alongside His Excellent President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo of Ghana, who is also our leader and African Union champion on gender and development issues. This initiative seeks partnerships where private sector, government, civil society will be working in coalition to drive the policy advocacy. Policy advocacy and market solutions that are going to unlock financing and opportunities for African women and youth entrepreneurs. One of the overarching goals is to achieve $100 billion unlocked for 10 million African women and youth entrepreneurs by 2030. $100 billion for at least 10 million African women entrepreneurs and youth entrepreneurs. We are also pushing for access to opportunities, including quota in public procurement, of 30% at least. This initiative also works for unlocking opportunities for job creation and makes a strong case for women and youth to have access to factors of production. The Aulin pillars, one of them is focusing on the economy indeed. Which is also one area with the implementation of the FCFTA. We need to see women and youth participate. We need to continue leveling the playing field for women and youth. By ensuring that issues of inclusion are truly addressed. The economy and the participation of women in decision making in the political life as well as for the transformation of society is very important.
Madam, we will have to ask you to truncate your message right now.
Yes, as we make progress, we continue to make progress.
And maybe take the rest of it later.
We are also aware that challenges still remain. And also new challenges actually emerge. As for instance, we achieve a digital transformation, we harness the digital technologies. Yeah, we must ensure that we don't lose or let women lie behind. Which is the opportunity to bring our youth.
My apologies. We had to cut that presentation short because, as I said before, Her Excellency has another meeting and she has to make an intervention before going. So we are going to skip the video right now, which is on the program, and go on to the presentations by the two heads of state. And the first one, OIU, will be the President of Ethiopia. Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Your Excellency, Dr. Samia Suluhu Ahmed, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Your Excellency and my dear sister Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former President of Liberia, Nobel Peace Prize winner, patron of Aulin. Ellen, you continue inspiring us. We wish you speedy recovery. We miss you here. Excellencies, Catherine Samba-Panza, Présidente de la République, ancienne Présidente de la République centrafricaine, Excellency Joyce Banda, former President of Malawi, Your Excellency the Vice President of the Gambia, my sister, the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, another sister, the Special Envoy of the Chairperson of the AU Commission on Women, Peace and Security, Madame Bineta Diop, my dear sister Gertrude,
First Lady of Zanzibar, Excellencies, young women leaders, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a great pleasure to be with you all today here in Zanzibar at the 4th Aulin Intergenerational Retreat. Tanzania is the best place to have this meeting for many reasons. We all know this is a country which has been at the forefront for the independence of Africa and which has inspired a lot of countries, a lot of political leaders, and how to do politics. Tanzania is the place where many peace processes have taken place, and I was very happy to hear again the anthem of the East African community, because I've been coming to Arusha many times to attend those processes. Tanzania has given us, for Africa, the longest serving Secretary General of the African, the OAU at that time, and I think of Dr. Salim Ahmed Salim. Tanzania is also giving us a good example in terms of gender parity. What we have seen yesterday evening is very fascinating. I think this is the right path, a very irreversible path that the country is going through. So I'm really happy to be here today. I would like to congratulate my dear sister, President Samia Suluhu Hassan, for the honorary doctorate that she earned from the University of Dar es Salaam. Your courage, my sister, your dedication, and your achievement, which speaks for itself, has led you to this well-deserved recognition. Congratulations. It is vital we share experiences on leadership, of our leadership journeys with the young generation. And especially to focus on the challenges so that they also avoid them. The intergenerational approach to deal with many issues that we are facing, I think, is the best approach. So it's very important that we gather in this kind of a space, which should be our safe space to discuss on those issues. Our gathering is taking place at a time of great uncertainties for our world and the planet in general. There seems to be a shift in the global balance, shift of world order, as some analysts are saying. We can't be sure of one thing: the world is changing. COVID-19 is said to have shown how unequal the world was. Well, some of us knew before COVID-19 that this world was indeed unequal, and we were fighting for a fairer world. A war is taking place in another hemisphere. Africa is hungry. Africa doesn't have fertilizer. We have to change this. It surely is a wake-up call, and Africa should be in a position to use this opportunity to reflect and weigh in the world stage. And this can only be done with men and women of this continent. So we don't have time. We have to empower our women to take their place in this changing world. Overlapping crises are pushing countless Africans to abject poverty, inequality, unemployment, and insecurity. That is why the theme of this year's retreat is timely and very important. The risks of leaving women behind are far too high. The place that financial inclusion has in development is important. It is seen as a catalyst for development. It is about the improvement of livelihoods and build a more equal and sustainable future. In recent past, increasing number of African women are participating in the leadership position, legislature, cabinet, and other decision-making arenas. What I have seen here in Tanzania, as I said earlier, is really encouraging. The major change resulting from women's increased participation in government and high positions is the erosion of the adage that women cannot lead. For her to lead, she needs her financial autonomy, bargaining power, increase of self-esteem. We need to remove the many constraints that hold women back. We have come a long way, but we still have a long journey. Let me just pinpoint some of the issues that I think are very important if we have to move forward, and we need to move forward. First, we must get away from the slogans and the facts that we have always been using in our speeches to explain how women should be supported and should be having their place. It's important, but we have to move forward. It's now time, I think, for radical and measurable changes. We therefore need concrete actions. Women have to be seen, not to be seen lamenting on their fate, but leading the way to changing the course. Concrete actions that we agree upon with periodical progress reports are needed. We have to act. I invite our young women to aspire to greater opportunity. There is a ladder of opportunity. We have to know that. Climbing towards opportunity increases our self-confidence. For the ladder to be not facing challenges, it has to be standing on a firm floor. Not all ladders are safe. We need to make sure of their solidity. We need to be well equipped to participate fully in the development of our countries. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of education, and I have seen the depth and complexity of it as I have chaired for the last 2 years the International Commission on the Futures of Education for UNESCO. Skills, training and training. In Ethiopia, I have started a presidential leadership program for mid-level leaders, because whenever we ask the question, why don't you promote more women to leadership position, the classical answer is, where are they? We can't find them. Well, they are there. I have noticed yesterday here in Tanzania, they are everywhere. We have to look for them. We have a big asset in our women. They find men. They can find women easily. So we have to, for this, to provide that certificate or whatever to show that they have been trained. I said maybe it's good to have this program. And I have made sure that we introduce in this curriculum, beside the broad-based leadership training that you all know, elements of women, peace, and security. And I'm well placed to say it. Unfortunately, my country has gone through a lot, and women have to be on the forefront. If we had women trained as mediators, as insider mediators, at the grassroots level, peace builders, trained for that, you know, they can stop conflicts from happening or prevent it to get to that level. So this has been introduced because, as we know, women and girls, women and children are disproportionately affected by war. We had also added elements of etiquette and protocol. Maybe my background as a diplomat has pushed me to that. But it's very important because the more you climb the ladder, the more you need to move in a very coded environment. And that codes, we have to know it. It's very simple. It's just a matter of knowing how we should behave. Mentorship, it has been said, it's very critical. Again, in Ethiopia, I have introduced a mentorship program for female students 3rd and 4th year, those who are ready to go to the workplace. So I think that is going on well. We need to have that kind of mentorship. I chose university because I thought it was critical, but we have to have it in many areas. Because mentorship, to my view, has to be a national program. As soon as I came to this position, the first thing I said, and in my acceptance speech, I have mentioned women and peace so many times, that I definitely do not want to be the tree hiding the forest, because behind me is a forest of women we have to empower. We must recognize that the capital, the driving force, talking about economic empowerment, sustainability, and financial inclusion, are, as for the financing sources, there is a scope to build in a gender lens in both existing and new financing mechanisms and investments. We must also accelerate women's digital literacy as a matter of urgency, given the enormous potential of e-commerce and digital finance to unleash their entrepreneurial potential. Otherwise, we risk deepening yet another gap, the gender-digital divide. We need to fight violence against women and girls in all its forms. I want to emphasize on all its forms, because violence against women, the worst of it is sexual violence, but there are many forms of violence, the visible and the invisible. How many times have you suffered of psychological violence, of undermining you, body language, or even the word that we use to just discourage women who want to express their views? So I think the pushback, as Binta has said yesterday, has to be pushed back. Let us be clear. We have to make sure that we are not given a position because it is politically correct to have a woman in high positions. We cannot be tokens. We cannot be boxes to tick to appear being good. We cannot put somebody, a woman, at the position and not giving that woman the means to deliver. That's also kind of violence. I know some of my sisters have gone through that. So we have to be together to understand the complexities and to really address. It's extremely important to my view. For this is a very good time to meet. I would just ask you really to use this retreat to get to know more one another, to really strengthen this network. It's very important. AULIN is the best continental vehicle for women to be empowered. We have to move forward. 30 chapters is a good progress, but we need chapters in all our countries, chapters that work and chapters that deliver. Always remember that a woman should be the one supporting a woman. Of course, men as well, but we have to be attentive to what is happening to another woman, because it can happen to all of us at any level. We have to concentrate on the substance of issues rather than what comes around it, because that's where we are going to be judged upon. Always remain confident of yourself. You have to know that there are those who are worse than what we are, but that we look up, that climbing the stairs, the ladder of opportunity. You can do it. If others have done it, you certainly can do it. That confidence has to be with you. Women should not be victims, should not be seen as victims. They are victims, unfortunately, of war, of conflicts, and so on. But they should be part of the solution. They themselves can only articulate what is happening and what should be done. I have seen it firsthand. I think it's very important to have this vision in terms of the role of women. I don't want to take much of your time because we have some other opportunities to discuss, but I would like to thank again my very dear sister, President Samia Suluhu Hassan, for hosting us here. I would like to offer to all of you my shoulders. Stand on them. I might look small, but my shoulders are strong, so please use it. I'm at your disposal if there is anything you want to know of what we have done to at least meet some of the challenges on our way. Long live Aulin, long live Women's Solidarity. I thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam President, for sharing with us all of those pearls of wisdom and sharing with us what you have done. Those are great ideas, and many of them should be implemented by us. Now, may I call on our moderator to come and, no, you're not going to introduce the President? Okay. May I have the honor then of inviting you, Madam President, and thanking you for hosting us in this beautiful surrounding. We're looking forward to hearing from you.
Tukai, be seated, please. Your Excellency Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former President of the Republic of Liberia and Aulen patron, wish you quick recovery. Your Excellency Sahle-Work Zewde, my sister, President of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Your Excellency Dr. Joyce Banda, former President of the Republic of Malawi, my mentor, Your Excellency Catherine Samba-Panza, former President of the Central African Republic, Mama Mongela Somo, and dear mentor of the Tanzanian women. Our host, the Regional Commissioner, Mustafa Kitwana, Your Excellency Dr. Dominic Nsanza Bangwana, Deputy Chairperson of the African Commission. We were in a meeting and somebody says, Your Excellency Monique, and the next is a sentence. The next name is a sentence. Nsanza Bangwana. Your Excellency Benita Diop, my sister AU Special Envoy on Women, Peace and Security, Mama Mariam Mwinyi, the spouse of Zanzibar President, Honorable Ministers here present, Excellencies Ambassadors and High Commissioners, Excellencies current and former African Union Commissioners here present, distinguished members of the Parliament, heads of the international organizations, Ms. Chido Mpemba, AU Youth Envoy, women from defense and security organs. Would you stand up and we see you? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Be seated. Representatives from civil society organizations, outstanding activities of International Women's Movement, distinguished delegates, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and habari asubuhi. At the outset, allow me to express my profound gratitude and appreciation to Her Excellency Ellen Sirleaf Johnson, Patron of Aulen and Aulen champion on the organizers for having me here to officiate this auspicious occasion and to have a collective reflection on the many questions that are central to address the plight of future women leaders. I'm confident that this gathering, which boasts presence of fellow stateswomen and former stateswomen, women CEOs, young women leaders, and acclaimed experts, and our beloved brothers who are here, will be an avenue not only to share valuable insights, but will also be crucial in providing us with tangible, concrete outcomes to rapidly expand and scale up women leadership in various sectors. And in this regard, I wish to acknowledge and commend the noble role played by my dear sister, Dr. Helen Johnson Sirleaf, the former president of Liberia and patron of the African Women Leaders Network, for a tireless and unfaltering commitment to women's leadership and for holding this annual retreat successfully and consistently over the last 5 years. Her tireless and unfaltering commitment to women's leadership, especially the youth, is clearly reflected in the extensive preparatory work that has gone into the retreat and at the range of expertise gathered here today, without forgetting her coveted role in the Amuje program. It is indeed something that makes all of us extremely proud, and we as elders here, as elders of AULN, must uphold and treasure this as we build a stronger support system with a younger generation of women leaders. On this note, I wish to express my government's appreciation for choosing Tanzania as your destination of choice. Karibuni sana Tanzania. Excellencies, distinguished guests, I'm witnessing firsthand the enthusiasm of our young women in the room, and to those connected, karibuni sana. I hope in the next coming days we'll attain our goal of creating a space for enriching and enlightening discussions. I note with satisfaction the effort of AULN in realizing the professional and human potential of women in leadership roles. It is heartening to see that the network aims at ensuring women have a voice in all spheres of life. And at this juncture, I would like to say that Tanzania greatly values partnership with AULN, and we are keen to expand our collaboration around the empowerment of our young women through various programs in order to achieve the implementation of Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development, AU Agenda 2063, and the Tanzanian Vision 2025. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, women face historic disadvantages such as limited access to resources, structural discrimination, restricted rights, limited mobility, and a muted voice in shaping decision-making, thus becoming highly vulnerable and marginalized. To date, social and traditional roles of childcare and household chores remain a woman's duty. These tasks have become burdensome, especially now that we are experiencing an alarming trend of overlapping crises such as deteriorating global climate change, the persistent COVID-19 pandemic, adding to those now a food and energy crisis, which are all undermining development in Africa and women in particular. We have seen the disturbing figures and reports, and here allow me to quote the SDGs Progress Gender Snapshot 2021, which indicated that the number of employed women declined to 54 million in 2020 and 45 million women left the labor market at all. It indicated that the poor become poorer with little or no social protection. Children and unpaid worker were the norm, 31 hours per week. And it reported increased food insecurity and unpaid maternity and exclusion in the major innovation and inventions. Indeed, women have significantly lost the gains of the past decade and have been threatened as never before. They faced hardship, built resilience, and are making it through. Today, we are here to fulfill our commitment to the young women. The intergenerational retreat was designed as a space where elders and young ones can co-create solutions and co-lead for a better tomorrow. The network is also committed to take responsibility for the goals of and objectives inscribed in the SDGs and Agenda 2063 and to build Africa that we want. And it is through this gathering we must solidify the fact that the achievement of 17 SDGs and its 169 targets depend on women with varying degrees. Inclusion of women in all spheres of life is not only fundamental human right, but a necessary foundation for a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world. I was so happy yesterday when we were doing the introduction, hearing we have one nuclear scientist amongst us, which is a very rare professional for women. But we have one here, and I believe we have many in the world. So we are trying to penetrate. We'll be there in good numbers. But let's say that one cannot talk about attainment of SDGs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8 without direct correlation of the role of women. The same implies for the implementation of AU Agenda 2063 and the Tanzanian Vision 2025. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we all know that gone are the days when women were solely confined to the parameters of their homes as caregivers or employed in menial jobs. We are now witnessing a massive shift from a woman who had no right to vote to a woman who sits on the decision-making table and decides for her nation. As it was said by my daughter Chilo, who spoke for the youth, today, in most countries except the conflict-torn countries, the number of women in decision-making tables is almost half. And here, allow me to use a good example of my country to show these statistics. Women parliamentarians in Tanzania have increased from 21.5% in 2005 to 37% in 2022. We have 9 cabinet ministers, women cabinet ministers, in the fields of land, health, women and development, foreign affairs, trade and investment, tourism, youth and employment, civil service and good governance, and local government. The local government is here. And therefore, fellow women ministers, if you could stand and they see you, how many we have here? Yeah. So we are moving. Judges have increased. The High Court and referral courts, we have 47%. Districts and primary courts, we came from 34% from 2005 to 39% this year, 2022. Female ambassadors and high commissioners, from 3% in 2005 to 21% in 2022. Female regional commissioners have risen from 10% in 2005 to 23% this year. Female district commissioners from 19% in 2005 to 29% this year. These numbers speak for themselves as they indicate that we can no longer overlook the critical role the women play in our economies. Women, including young women, have proven time and time again that they are capable of leading, and we should ensure that they can do so. We even have very young politicians. We have a younger, should I call a girl or what? Leila, would you stand up? This young woman is sitting in the Central Committee of the ruling party. Yeah. So it is in this regard that I like to take this opportunity to commend the organizers of this retreat for the timely selection of the theme, African Young Women Lead, Mobilizing Partnership and Pathway for Economic Empowerment, Sustainability and Financial Inclusion, as it is evident that it is only through the inclusion of women that we are able to unlock the economic potential of the region and the world at large. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, in order to make even greater progress, safeguarding meaningful participation and equal rights with full resources for women and girls is key. We need to transform gender roles and power relations while breaking barriers for women's meaningful participation at all levels of leadership and decision-making spheres, and I'm trying hard doing that. This is necessary to ensure women's financial and economic inclusion, which the African Union has set as its goal for this decade. This can only be achieved through commitment and bold actions to accelerate progress, including through the promotion of laws, policies, budgets, and institutions that advance gender equality. There is a great need for investment in gender statistics to keep track of the progress. Therefore, our advocacies must never stop, nor wither, because countless studies have shown that empowering women economically and politically leads to sustainable growth, stability, and more resilience for society as a whole. We must do just that. As Tanzania is championing the Generation Equality or Generation Equality Action Coalition on Economic Justice and Rights, I'll do my part in ensuring that young women are supported in their efforts to spur development on the continent. The Generation Equality Forum commitments we have made are essential in making progress towards attaining gender equality and the economic empowerment of women. Our priorities focus on investing in gender-responsive public and private social services, including investing in community early childhood development to help reduce women's unpaid care or care work and make women more productive, promoting decent work for women both in the formal and informal economy. And recently, we have issued an order prescribing on minimum wage for domestic workers, workers in the hospitality industry, in agriculture, and in the manufacturing sector, to mention but a few. Our priorities are also focusing on enhancing women access, use, control, and ownership of productive resources that prioritize innovation and the use of digital economy. This includes enabling more women and access to land, women-inclusive finance, and enhancing women's entrepreneurship skills. We are also focusing on promoting gender-responsive macroeconomic plans, budget reforms, and stimulus packages that address the needs and aspirations of women, including the poor ones. Through this, the country has established and strengthened women economic empowerment platforms as an important part to attaining these aspirations. To date, we have a total of 3,088 women empowerment platforms at the village and regional levels across the country. We aim to establish national level platform which be informed by women voices starting from the village level. Excellencies, distinguished guests, on the regional level, I'm also championing on the women and youth in trade under the African Continental Free Trade Area. Women estimated to account for 70% of informal cross-border trade in Africa. It is my wish to see that women are all positioned to tap into regional export destinations and use regional markets as stepping stones for expanding into overseas markets. And we have started doing that, but we need to expand and make it a larger business. The African Continental Free Trade Area has created a new market of 1.3 billion people across Africa. This accounts for a combined gross domestic product of US $3.4 trillion. According to the World Bank, the successful implementation of the CFTA has the potential of lifting up the 30 million Africans out of extreme poverty and increase income of 68 million Africans who live on less than $5.5 a day, the majority of whom are women and youth. Therefore, it is my hope that women will benefit from this huge market of ours. Excellencies, distinguished guests, young women are not only the future, they are the now. Yes, you are the now. They hold the keys to practical solutions and drive progress through the passion they carry towards leadership. It gives me great hope to see the caliber and diversity of young women here, and I have no doubt that in the next 20 to 30 years, our continent will be in their safe and capable hands of women, of course. To the young women, I say, a luta continua. You should move, my daughters, move. Move with passion, move with determination. To conclude, I call on all member states, multilateral and bilateral institutions and partners, the friends of AULN, who we wholeheartedly thank, to redouble their efforts and provide sustained support to the network. We know that works. We have the tools and right frameworks. We all pledge to leave no one behind when adopting Agenda 2030 for sustainable development. We know the Africa we want in the AU Agenda 2063 and our national development plans. While I'm nearing concluding my speech, let me talk something about HIV and AIDS. We had an HIV and AIDS Day here in Tanzania presented by our sister Winnie Byanyima was there presenting the UN AIDS. And what we notice, the infection is going through in high speed to 15 to 24 years young women in high speed. We have been able to reduce the death. We've been able to ufubaza wanasemaje? To suppress the power of the virus, but then the infection is still going on. And we are going to live with this pandemic for quite a long time. So may I call upon young women to work on this, to stop infection to the younger ones. Women are most infected. So please work on this as well. While you are foreseeing to be the future leaders in Africa, please stop HIV and AIDS. So the task is yours. Take actions. Finally, I should say, solidarity among us must be the rule, not the exception. Supporting fellow women, especially mentoring the younger generation, should not only be a moral imperative, but justice to humanity. Enough of rhetoric, let us walk the talk. We've been speaking for a long time, and now we have to act. I hope you continue to enjoy the generosity and hospitality of our people here in Zanzibar, here in Tanzania. With a warm heart, we say, karibuni tena Tanzania, karibuni sana. Thank you very much, and thank you for listening.
Your Excellency, thank you for being so gracious. Thank you for all of the hard work that you have done to promote the women of Tanzania. I want to especially thank the women of Tanzania for supporting Her Excellency. Yes, that's right. You know, Tanzania is one of those countries that does not boast, and it does not promote itself, but we can see what it does quietly. And in East Africa, we were all shocked that Tanzania gave us the first female president. So let's give Tanzania a big hand. Wonderful, really, really wonderful. Tunaomba Mungu akubariki. Yeah. Asante kwa kazi. Iendelee. Yes. Okay, very good. I'm going to now call on my co-director to come and take us through the next panel before we have our group photograph. Madam President, I understand you will still be with us. Thank you very much. We were very worried that you would leave us. So I'm calling on my co-director now.
Thank you, Mama Delma. In the essence of time, we are going to jump on to the next fireside chat. And this is a very, very interesting one. I'm very sure most of us in the room have been so much looking forward to this chat because we have all our excellencies and our mamas on the stage, and this is going to be quite interesting. I have the honor to call upon two of our co-facilitators, two young women that are part of the Youth Caucus, who will be speaking to our senior leaders at the high table on a fireside chat called Conversation with the Women Presidents, Transforming the Continent, One Women Leader at a Time. How to unlock young women's potential through experience sharing and lessons learned from the elders. So this is going to be very informal because we would like to dive into the experiences of our leaders at the high table, personal experiences, professional experiences, challenges and opportunities that they can share with the young women and the seasoned women as well in the table. Please welcome Ms. Doris Molel. She is with Allen, Tanzania. Please come forward. Welcome. And Ms. Vamba Madia from Allen, Côte d'Ivoire. Thank you to both of you. I would ask that you please be mindful of time, and the floor is yours.
Your Excellency, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Excellency Salha Work Zewde, President of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Excellency Dr. Joyce Banda, former President of the Republic of Malawi and Aulen Peninsula, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ambassadors, ministers, and all the young women leaders around here, good morning. It's a pleasure and an honor to stand in front of you in this very special day for we young women leaders who are aspiring to take the ladder of our mothers, of our presidents who are here with us to give us an inspiration. Actually, it's a fireside chat. So, it's not going to be serious. It's informal, it's relaxed. So we are expecting all of you to participate very fully. And this fireside chat conversation is going to look into how best do we transform the continent of one woman, one leader at a time. How do we unlock young women potential through experience sharing, lessons learned from the elders. We understand that they're our leaders, they're the presidents, their mothers, their aunties, their grannies. We would like to know how best do we set in or fit in their roles when we are aspiring to get where we wish to go. My sister Bamba from Ivory Coast, I welcome you to take us through the protocol of this fireside chat.
Sorry. Thank you, my sister. Son Excellence Samia Suluhu Hassan, présidente de la République unie de Tanzanie, Son Excellence Saleh Zewde, présidente de la République fédérale et démocratique de l'Éthiopie, Son Excellence Madame Joyce Banda, ancienne présidente du Malawi, permettez-moi, honorables invités, distingués invités, en vos rangs, grades et qualités, permettez-moi de vous souhaiter la bienvenue à la 4e retraite intergénérationnelle des jeunes dirigeantes du réseau Awele. Ambition, potentiel, compétences, des caractéristiques qu'au fil de ces années, les jeunes femmes leaders en Afrique ont su mettre en avant et développer. Toutefois, que seraient donc ces réalisations de leurs objectifs sans des modèles de réussite pour les inspirer? Arriveraient-elles vraiment à éclore sans expérience de ces pionnières? La réponse est inéluctablement non. Mesdames et messieurs, vous l'aurez compris, notre conversation aura pour objectif de savoir comment libérer le potentiel des jeunes femmes au travers du partage d'expériences de nos pionnières. Nous débuterons donc cette session en premier par la présentation du profil et du parcours de nos différentes pionnières. Ensuite, nous procéderons donc à entrer dans le vif du sujet avec des questions. Et après, nous ouvrirons le micro au public afin que vous puissiez poser des questions à votre tour aux différentes présidentes ici présentes. Et enfin, nous finirons par une conclusion sur ce que nous avons appris sur cette session. Je suis mademoiselle Bamba Madia, je suis la représentante du Caucus Jeune de Côte d'Ivoire Et j'ai l'agréable mission donc de modérer cette session avec Madame Doris ici présente. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, my sister. That was a good one. So we go straight to the snapshot of a little biography of who are our panelists today. We have Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. Excellency, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, congratulations for the honorary doctorate that you received. Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, our President, she served as a Member of Parliament of Makunduchi constituency, Minister in the Vice President's Office for Union Affairs from 2020 to 2015. President Samia Suluhu Hassan was elected as a Vice Chairperson of the Constituent Assembly tasked with the drafting of the country's new constitution in the very same years. She was the only high-ranking women minister in the cabinet. Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan became Tanzania's first female vice president following the 2015 general elections. Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan is the current president of the United Republic of Tanzania and the very first female president. A round of applause. She was also named among the top 100 most influential people in the American magazine Cold Times. President Samia Suluhu Hassan, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, is a champion for women and youth in the African trade after the AFSTA. And she's also a champion for generation equality. Apologies. We are going to witness, hear, and get inspired of her journey to where she is and how she got the ladder and how we young people are going to be inspired of her story and many others. Allow me to also introduce the second panelist, Excellency Sahle Work Zewde, the President of Ethiopia. She was the only second woman to be appointed as an ambassador in Ethiopia in the history. She served as the ambassador of both communist people in the Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. President Sahle also served as an ambassador to Senegal with accreditation to Mali, Cape Verde, Guinea-Bissau, Gambia, and she later served as an ambassador to France. Sahle Work Zewde subsequently held other higher level positions, including the permanent representative of Ethiopia to the African Union. To go briefly, President Sahle Work Zewde, she's the current president of Ethiopia, and she's the first female president there. We are proud to have her. My sister Bamba, tell us, who do we have next?
Thank you, my sister. Mesdames et messieurs, celle que je m'en vais maintenant vous présenter est une femme de la trempe de celles que nous recherchons en Afrique, de celles qui font bouger le continent africain. Entrepreneur, militante, politicienne et philanthrope, élue femme la plus puissante d'Afrique par le magazine Forbes pendant 2 années consécutives, élue parmi les femmes les plus puissantes au monde. Son Excellence Dr. Joyce Banda est une championne des droits des femmes, des enfants, des personnes handicapées et d'autres groupes marginalisés. Elle est aussi la fondatrice et directrice exécutive de l'Association nationale des femmes d'affaires du Malawi. Elle est lauréate du prix Leadership Afrique en 1997, d'abord ministre des Femmes et de l'Enfant, puis ministre des Affaires étrangères. Elle a été vice-présidente de la République avant de devenir la présidente de la République du Malawi. Ce faisant, elle devient la première femme à occuper ces 2 postes dans son pays et la 2e femme présidente d'Afrique. Mesdames et messieurs, son Excellence Joyce Banda, sous vos ovations, s'il vous plaît. My sister Doris, please.
Thank you very much, my sister. I retract my sentence.
Sahle-Work Zewde is the city president of Ethiopia. Going back to our questions, I will take it first to our president, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan. Being the president of the United Republic of Tanzania, a mother, an auntie, you are our icon, we young women leaders. We would like to know, what are those 3 important leadership advice you could provide to a young women leader of today?
Thank you for the question, and I don't know if I'm aware of those 3, but I'll try to advise my daughters not concentrating on the principles of management which we have been taught in schools and universities, but on my own experience on how to be good leaders. I think I should say first and foremost is to know who you are and what is your purpose. What are you there for? But knowing that, then you have to be humble. You have to be humble. You have to listen to the people and speak less. You have to listen even to those you think they are stupid, but one day might be having something meaningful for you. So listen to them. Number 2, to understand how the people in your community, in the company where you are, would like to communicate. Not in any way, but Africans, we do have our own values, traditions, so you should know how these people like to be communicated. In their, not necessarily in their own language, but on their own way, in their own way. So you have to learn how to communicate to them. But number 3 is to learn to the elders, to learn to those who know the place where you are, those who know the institution which you are working for, those who know the company which you are working for. Definitely there are those elders who have been there for so long, listen to them. But don't let them push you to their way. Learn from them, forge your head, forge your way, know how to go about them, know how to manage the company or wherever you are leading. So listen to them, but don't let them push on their way. Find the co-leaders wherever you are. There are co-leaders. Find them, learn from them. You are there not because you know each and everything. You must have to learn from the elders who are there. Be open about your way of doing things. Don't be pushed. Be open about your way of doing things. I don't want this, but I want this way. I don't like that statement, but I want this statement. I don't want to be addressed this way, but I want to be addressed that way. Be open to the colleagues around you. But again, don't dictate. Don't dictate. Work on the participatory way or participatory method. Don't dictate them, go and do this, go and do that. Ask them, how about if we should go this way, and listen to them. You will go further. But if you want to dictate, you will go but no further. Your journey will be shortened. But again, make sure you are in what position you are in for so long, not for a short period of time. Tell them that I'm here for the long haul, not for the short haul. They'll be testing you. They will be saying about you. They will dictate that you won't be going further. Tell them, I'm here to stay. I'm here to work with you. So be bold, be confident. Be bold and be confident. And lastly, I don't know whether there are 3 or 6 advices, but lastly, avoid PhDs. By PhDs, pull her down. Whenever you meet your fellow women, your fellow younger ones, women, push them up. Pull them up, don't push them down. Because if you push them, pull them up, don't push them down, you will be many up there. The number will be good at the top there, and we'll be having a strong voice. If you pull them down and you just want on your own to be there, you won't be having a stronger voice to detect your way. But if you are many, then you'll be having assistance to make you stay where you are or even climb the ladder higher. So in short, those are my advice.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. Those were almost 15. I was writing and I got humble, speak less, values, don't dictate, be bold. Those are things we young people need to carry, and those are things that will help us, we young people, take up the ladder to where we wish to go. My sister Bamba, kindly step aside.
Son Excellence, Madame Saleh Work Zouede, vous êtes une femme si inspirante. Partout dans le monde, les jeunes femmes veulent vous ressembler. Aujourd'hui, elle me charge de vous poser une question. Les jeunes femmes voudraient savoir comment vous pourriez décrire votre leadership, comment diriez-vous que vous dirigez votre pays. Surtout maintenant, dites-nous, lorsque vous êtes face à des adversités, comment est-ce que vous réagissez? Merci.
Merci beaucoup. Merci de me donner l'occasion de m'exprimer en français. Permettez-moi d'ajouter, de dire quelques mots sur mon cursus, parce que j'ai toujours été fonctionnaire de mon pays, jusque dans la moelle, mais j'ai servi 10 ans aux Nations Unies, je ne voudrais pas que ça soit oublié, juste parce que j'ai été la première femme à occuper beaucoup de postes, comme représentante spéciale du secrétaire général en République centrafricaine, chef du bureau politique, directrice générale du siège des Nations Unies en Afrique, à Nairobi, Yunon, et puis pour quelques mois, représentante spéciale du secrétaire général auprès de l'Union africaine, a Dream Job. Donc, juste pour vous dire que j'étais une femme, la première comme médiatrice au Malawi, auprès de ma sœur, la présidente Joyce Banda, et bien sûr avec Catherine Samba-Panza en Centrafrique. La question que vous me posez, c'est mon style de leadership.
Oui.
N'est-ce pas? Moi, j'ai toujours pensé, dans ma longue carrière diplomatique, que ce soit nationale ou internationale, que je me suis toujours dit, je n'y suis pas encore. Et je me suis toujours préparée à affronter plus d'obstacles, plus de défis. Donc, je ne me suis jamais reposée sur mes lauriers en disant que c'est fini, j'ai atteint le maximum. Ensuite, j'ai toujours privilégié un style de leadership qui épouse la simplicité. Je crois que c'est très important que nous soyons simples et que nous allions droit au but. Parce que toujours enrobés de beaucoup de choses qui finalement ne sont pas pérennes, nous font oublier le chemin que nous devons suivre. J'ai toujours fait attention d'éviter tout dérapage et de rester intègre dans mes convictions, parce que j'ai milité dans des associations d'étudiants en France et j'ai des principes auxquels je ne pourrai jamais déroger. Intégrité dans ce que je fais pour être un bon exemple d'une femme qui peut le faire sans avoir le parrainage de quelqu'un ou l'argent d'un tel, ou etc., ou quelqu'un qui me tienne la main pour me guider. Mon style aussi est d'être, comme j'ai dit, simple, mais aussi humble. Ma sœur, la présidente Samia l'a dit, l'humilité, c'est très important. Ça doit être notre trait de caractère aux femmes, je pense. Il faut toujours être humble devant tout ce que nous devons faire. Pour ce faire, je retrousse mes manches et travaille avec mon staff. Je ne choisis même pas le travail qu'il faut faire. S'il faut le faire, je le fais. Je suis avec elle à corriger, à moi-même rédiger, etc. Et je le fais jusqu'à présent. Je privilégie aussi la consultation, c'est-à-dire savoir ce que d'autres pensent parmi mes collègues, comment nous devons évoluer. En Éthiopie, nous avons un système politique qui est différent de beaucoup d'autres pays. Il n'y a que nous et Maurice qui avons un système parlementaire. Et donc, il faut aussi naviguer dans cela. Mais dans mon style de leadership, je n'ai jamais pour une seconde oublié que d'autres me regardent et qu'il faut que je les inspire plutôt que d'avoir à se cacher parce qu'elles auront honte de ce que j'aurais fait. Donc c'est toujours très important de savoir que nous naviguons sous les yeux de millions d'autres femmes qui pensent qu'un jour elles pourront y arriver. Merci beaucoup.
Je vous remercie, Son Excellence. Alors, Madame, Son Excellence, la présidente de l'Éthiopie, nous a dit que dans son style de leadership, toujours se dire qu'on n'y est pas. La simplicité est une clé de la réussite. Elle nous dit que l'intégrité dans ses convictions, avoir des principes et s'y tenir, avancer avec humilité et toujours faire le travail lorsqu'il faut le faire. Merci, Madame, pour votre réponse.
Thank you very much, my sister Bamba. Excellency Dr. Joyce Banda, former President of the Republic of Malawi. I have witnessed the good work that you've done through the Dr. Joyce Banda Foundation, and I have seen how much you have invested to women in rural areas, giving out land, planting chilies, and making the use of their own land and their own skills. We would like to know, we young women leaders, who inspired you to be a leader and why? But at the same time, what role of mentorship do you play in investing in many other young leaders, and what would you wish to tell the young leaders as far as putting the financial inclusion in a broader aspect in digital economy as well? Thank you.
Since I'm opening my mouth for the first time, let me recognize in a very special way our host this morning, our very sister, President Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, and all my distinguished sisters sitting here. In 1992, I attended a meeting organized by Graça Machel in Mozambique. And one lesson that I learned there, that I've kept all my life, was she said, you must never be modest, because by saying what you are inspiring a younger person. So let me just say what she omitted in my introduction. I was first member of parliament. In case young leaders there, they want to become members of parliament. I've been a member of parliament. I was Minister of Women, Children, Community Services and Social Welfare. Then I served as my country's foreign minister, and then vice president and president of the country. So of all those positions, the one that I enjoyed most is that of foreign minister. So when it is left out, I must say it. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for the introduction and for the question. I think for me, what is most important for us to get out of this meeting, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, is the support that we can provide to young leaders. Those of us who have claimed that we are offering our shoulders, as my sister president of Ethiopia has said, must be seen to be doing it, to be taking action. And our younger leaders must be prepared to work with us and to take that support. And I want to demonstrate, so my presentation, my response will just be in examples of what has happened on the way. One, it was in 2011, because the president of Ethiopia did not want to say it. It is something that sometimes makes us very emotional. I was serving I'm talking about supporting younger women, mentoring others. As far as I'm concerned, the president of Ethiopia is a sister to me. Yesterday I just saw her and I didn't know what to say to her. I just said, I love you. Because what she has done in the past for me. What was left out in the introduction, I think, is the fact that she was regional director at UNDP, serving at Girigiri in Nairobi. And I was going through a lot of challenges in Malawi. I was elected along my president as vice president. But along the way, I think I was becoming too popular, and sometimes it is unsafe for you to become too popular in your country. And so my president, who had promised Malawians that he would groom me to take over from him, changed his mind. So he told me, you can remain vice president if you endorse my younger brother. And well, I said, well, that was not part of the discussion, so therefore I will not do it. And so therefore I started facing challenges. One of the problems that I faced is that then people in Malawi also started to agitate for change and demonstrate on the road because of the economic challenges they faced. In the meantime, I'm being sidelined. So it was happening side by side. There were demonstrations on the road. 21 people died. And the whole country now started worrying about me. There was an assassination attempt. A truck went and hit my car, my official car, where I was supposed to sit. Instead, my security had changed me to another car. So that's why I'm still here, I didn't die. But everybody knew that it was going to happen. The president had made a statement at an event. If you meet Joyce Banda, because she's sympathizing with those demonstrators, I will smoke her out and flush her out. So people understood that phrase and what it meant. So a report went to the Secretary General of the UN. And the Secretary General of the UN delegated Madam Sare, President of Ethiopia, to travel to Malawi to save the life of this Vice President. So she traveled to Malawi. At that time, I couldn't even leave my house. So she came and arrived in Lilongwe. She instructed the resident coordinator of UNDP in Malawi to organize UN cars to come and take me, because I was refusing to leave, to go to her meeting, so that she could hear what are the challenges. I traveled with a UN car at the back, a UN car in front, in order to find myself at this meeting. And I want her to know, and I want to register this publicly. The reason why I'm still alive is because the whole week, everybody said the director of UNDP was in this country, don't touch her. That's why I'm still here. I'm talking about giving support to younger women, giving support to somebody else. we must be genuine in the support that we provide to one another. Number two, she talked about business for women. Those who know me, that's what I've done all my life. I started there, and so I am a strong believer that economic empowerment is the key to social and political empowerment. And so if two things don't happen, then women are going to lag behind. Those that missed out on education, because there are so many in Tanzania, in Malawi, in the whole Africa, who didn't access education because when the resources were low, families sent their sons and the daughters stayed behind. Therefore, the only opportunity they have now is economic empowerment, is business. And now, therefore, we are obliged as leaders to make sure that we are creating those opportunities for our women in our countries. The second is education. And every single day, we must provide education to our daughters. I want to recognize in a very special Elizabeth Chatua, who is a young leader from Malawi. I don't know if she's here. Yeah, she has decided she's going to spend all her resources educating girls. But she's just a banker. So on her small salary, she can just manage so much. And I'm talking about working together and supporting one another. So when she is overloaded, she offloads those to Joyce Banda. So the other day she called me. She says, Mom, I promised to pay school fees for X girls. I can't do it. Can you support me? And I said, bring them. We sent them to school from Form 2 to Form 4. This past week, one of them, a blind girl, and the blind girl has passed with distinction and is going to university to study engineering. Yesterday, she's looking at me. I said, she was telling me this yesterday. She said, Mom, one of those girls that you supported me to educate is going to university to study engineering, and she's blind. Do you hear me, distinguished ladies and gentlemen? We can touch, this theme is about touching one life at a time. This blind girl will go to university and will never forget the support Elizabeth has given her. She will become, in turn, a leader in Malawi. As for Joyce Banda Foundation, we must talk about what we are doing. I said last night, we shall come here this year and say what we have done for other women, to empower younger women. And next year, the younger women must come back here and tell us what they did when they went back home. So in Malawi, I have mobilized, the Joyce Banda Foundation has mobilized 750,000 women right now. They are looking at 4 sectors. One is to plant each one 10 trees, which is 7 million trees. And they have decided they are going to be advocates for themselves, to raise their voices, to fight against gender-based violence and all the injustices that surround us women. And number 3, they are going to train themselves in business skills, but more importantly, skills that will enable them to add value to their crops. And finally, microfinance and digital opportunity for themselves. I was showing a clip yesterday to women where a woman gets a handphone for the first time and is dancing because it is something she never expected in her life. These women have decided they are not going to sit back and wait for handouts. They have decided to change their situation. It is therefore incumbent upon those of us who are leaders to create those opportunities for them. And I just was listening to the UNDP race rep here, and how he is prepared to support the ARU in Malawi, because that's the only way we can forge ahead when our partners come and help us to empower ourselves. What am I saying? I get saddened when international organizations come to Africa and think we have no brain and decide they are going to do it alone and change our situation instead of engaging us to work together with us so that we can articulate our issues better than anybody else. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wanted also to support, to recognize 2 women, and that is Dr. Thema Wori and my Binta Diop. In March this year, they traveled to Malawi. They are working with the support of the Moroccan private sector. Are they the ones that, yes, a Moroccan organization that is here. Thank you very much for your support. May God bless you. Dr. Thema Wori and Madam Diop traveled to Malawi. They are helping to support women who are in agriculture, who are growing pigeon peas. In 2 weeks ago, she came back. What I am saying is that Nkosazana Zuma came into African Union and left crying about the whore, saying, let us send the whore to the museum, for goodness sake. Our women are suffering, so we are saying to the Moroccan government and the private sector and our partners, can you please provide, help us mechanize, help us to go into commercial agriculture. I am an off-taker of 5,000 women who are growing chilies, and my sisters, when they came, they went to inspect their gardens. But they are still with the primitive tools. They can only do so much. Can our partners be serious and be genuine? Come and support us to help these farmers mechanize and commercialize and make sure that they go into exports and value addition. I wanted also, in a very special way, to recognize Dr. Asfar, who is sitting here. It was just last year when she traveled to Malawi and we discussed business with Malawian women. But what we have embarked on, I donated land to Comesa Women in Business for them to build the headquarters in Malawi. And so what we went and handed over the land together. What we are hoping the international community will do is to help us build that headquarters. The message I would like to give is that we are only going to be successful if our women are economically empowered. It is the route for most of them to educate their children, to provide better health to their families, to provide better nutrition, but also to make sure girls are educated. But we can grow as ourselves and strengthen our businesses if we are buying from one another. Madam President said, we must empower each other. We must take advantage of cross-border trade and the regional market that exists. That we can do if we are genuinely loving one another and supporting one another and buying from one another and raising our voices together. Finally, I would like to ask those of us who are in leadership, who get in leadership, who have been in leadership, to realize that our young women are going to continue to die in the Middle East. Our young men are going to continue to die in the Mediterranean. Our young men and women are going to continue to face xenophobia all over. Why? Because we as leaders in our countries are not creating opportunities for our young men and women. It is incumbent upon us. It's beautiful music to listen to President Samia when she talks about how they are going to support young men and women. So apart from business, did you see the women that she introduced here? Particularly the women in them, young, energetic women. Let us provide opportunity to our young women. It is their time. We are done. Can we get it? We are done. Joyce Banda is done. All we can give now is support. And so, to finish, is to demonstrate what good leadership can do. President of Ethiopia last night said, I am amazed and I'm impressed at all these young women standing up here introducing themselves, women occupying positions of leadership. But do you know what? It is a good leader who does that. So therefore, I would like to end my speech by saying, I was on the plane coming here to Tanzania, and an Asian gentleman moved from his seat and came and he was saying, where are you going? I said, I'm going to Tanzania. I'm going to attend a meeting. What meeting? I said, African Women Leaders Network. She said, by the way, do you know President Samia personally? And as an African woman, I've been trained that when somebody asks you that, you don't say, yes, 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 she's my sister. Then you won't hear the best. So I said, well, I'm working on getting to know her. I hope that one day I'll meet her. What is it? She says, you know what? She's a star performer. This is a star performer. Thank you. Thank you.
Those hands are not enough. Can I get more? Thank you very, very much, Excellency Dr. Joyce Banda, former President of the Republic of Malawi. That was a beautiful speech, comments, everything that we young people can take. The best of what you've spoken is be genuine to the support you give to one another. That carries a very big message to the elders and we young people. I must say, I'm very proud to have Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan here. Just 2 weeks ago, she donated 70 million shillings to the Doris Mollel Foundation, an NGO that I run, to support premature babies in Tanzania. You know what? She could have just decided to give it to the Ministry of Health. But do you have a question in your mind, thinking, just as I'm thinking, why did she donate to a young women leader who runs an NGO to support premature babies, who contribute 40%, 47% of neonatal death in Tanzania? I mean, I was so surprised. I was so honored. Thank you very much, Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, for that. But to me, I took it as a way of building my career as a leader. So that is the best example of what former President of the Republic of Malawi, Dr. Joyce Banda, said, be genuine to the support we give to one another. And that is an example of the genuinity that Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan has, and I'm very, very happy for that. It's an honor, and many of young leaders who are running NGOs, they're like, we are also very happy that she did that to a female leader who runs an NGO. So it became an example, and I'm very happy for that. Thank you very much. I said I must not leave without saying that, and we're almost there, ending it. But we young women leaders would like to just have one word from you, our Excellency President. We would like to know, what would you tell the younger self, young women leader who aspires to be you, just in one word? What would you tell that young woman about leadership? Just one word. Thank you. You're welcome. I'll begin with Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. Welcome, Madam President.
It's working. I think all what I can say is be determined to what you're doing. Determined. Know your goal. Know your path to reach where you want to go. And be persistent on your efforts to reach there. You will be there for sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of United Republic of Tanzania. Your Excellency, Sali Work-Zewde, the President of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. Just one word for we young leaders. One word about leadership. Welcome, Excellency.
Thank you very much. Just to add to what my sister just said, mine would be to know that there is a potential leader in all of you. You can be a leader. Don't be afraid. Dare. Always know that there is worse than you who have climbed the ladder. So it's your turn. Just be bold. Don't be afraid. You can do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Excellency Sale Work-Zewde, President of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia. I'm coming to you lastly, Excellency Dr. Joyce Banda, former President of the Republic of Malawi. Just one word for we young women leaders about leadership. Welcome.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say to the young ladies, have a very clear vision. Have a very clear plan, but find a niche. I have found that being first this, being first that in my country has its challenges. There are so many who will struggle to accept that you are here and you can participate. So they will stand in the way. So for me, have a constituency. What I mean is have a following. Begin to build that following. You will build a following that can even kill for you. Because when the president died and I was going to take oath, there are some who resisted in Malawi for 72 hours. The system even removed my security. It was my constituency, village people, because in Malawi people know I love rural people. I love village people. I love the disadvantaged. Have that niche and hold it always. Be seen to be with them, because you will need them. In that journey to leadership, you will need them, because in my case, as everybody was struggling to accept, to allow me to take oath, they marched on the street and camped at Parliament building and said, today if she doesn't take oath, we shall burn down this building. So stay the course, stay with your constituency, love them and mingle with them, mobilize. You can't become a leader because of the number of degrees you have. That's not how it works. You will become a leader by the network that you have built.
Yes, welcome, President.
A small reminder that a ladder to the top is slippery. You might fall. Stand up and move again. The road might be rough. Be bold and move. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. As we are coming to the end of this very fruitful, engageful session, we are very much thankful for all of you to take time and listen to us. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Joyce Banda, for finalizing the last word for we young women leaders. We are very much happy that we have heard all the good words and all the guidance that you've given us. Thank you very, very much. It's an honor that I celebrate the 31st birthday in front of the excellence, the President. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy. This is an honor. Our AU Special Representative, Madam Benicio Job, I thank you very much for giving me this honor to be here and creating this all-in platform. For us, we young leaders, it's very, truly inspirational. Welcome, my sister Banda, to finalize and wrap up this session. Thank you very much.
Mesdames et Messieurs, Excellences, nous arrivons donc à la fin de notre session. Je voudrais vous remercier pour votre écoute attentive. Nous avons retenu de ces femmes qu'être une femme leader, ce n'est pas être toute seule sous la lumière, mais tirer les autres sur la table. Rassurez-vous, en tant que femme, en tant que jeune femme, de ne pas être seule sur la table. Notre génération a une mission. Elle doit la découvrir, l'accomplir ou la trahir. Et aujourd'hui, nous avons pu prendre exemple au vu de ces trois femmes, qui sont des femmes leaders, qui ont montré qu'il est possible d'être une femme présidente et de soutenir d'autres jeunes femmes. Madame, je voudrais remercier Madame Diop qui nous a donné l'opportunité de pouvoir animer cette session au vu et au su de tout le monde. Et je voudrais vous dire que nous sommes énormément fiers d'appartenir à Aoline. Aoline n'est pas seulement un dicton, Aoline n'est pas seulement un rêve, Aoline est une réalité. Parce que nous, en tant que jeunes femmes, ici aujourd'hui, nous avons la possibilité de côtoyer des femmes leaders de haut rang, d'apprendre de ces femmes-là et d'aller impacter nos différents pays. Je vous remercie.
Thank you so much. Can we give the moderators a round of applause? Didn't they do a good job? If I may, Your Excellencies and everyone in the room, I'd like to recognize Her Excellency Isato Torre. We haven't heard anything from you, and we know you're one of the champions for youth leadership, mentoring us. We had a brief chat with you yesterday, and you spoke vividly and passionately about your love for Aolen and how you will be in the forefront of launching Aolen in the Gambia. May you please just share with us in a minute, Your Excellency, your voice and just a message to the young women that are here in this room today before we close.
Thank you very much. I would like to stand on all protocols to recognize our presidents, our great leaders
who are today as good examples of women's empowerment. We have heard them. We have heard a lot that they have done, and I think they are inspirational. I want to secondly also recognize Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan for attaining this honoris causa, which she deserves. And I want to call on institutions to continue to recognize women. For too long, men have been given such, and women deserve it now for the great work that they are doing to transform Africa and the world over. I am here as a guest, just to come and observe, and I want to say thank you to Madam Bineta, Her Excellency Bineta, and also to recognize her leadership in the continent and elsewhere as the special envoy for peace and security, and the great work that she has been doing in Africa and elsewhere. My advice is to say that you are the leaders of today, not tomorrow. The young people are the leaders of today and not tomorrow, and you should start engaging right away. And I'm very pleased with what I have seen. 35 years ago, the champion of Beijing, Mama Gertrude Mongella, found us in the university, in this Institute of Social Studies, when she was nominated as the coordinator for the Beijing process. She came and was trying to recruit some African young leaders. I was among those that she identified. She talked to us at the university. There were Nigerians, Cameroonians, Tanzanians, and so many other young girls who are coming up in the field. And she said, Beijing is coming and you have to engage. We listened to her keenly. We got her advice. We all graduated with our Masters on Women and Development, and then decided to go back home. I went back home with that inspiration and that passion, and started in my country, and we built a network of young feminist budding activists. We began to engage, and today I am very honored today to be sitting with my mentor after more than 40 years as part of the elders of this continent. I want to say thank you to you, Madam Mongella, for giving us this inspiration, and the team of women that you have inspired who are doing great works in Africa. I want to say thank you. My advice to you is engage. I've listened carefully. Engage with passion, and I have seen that. Call for reforms, effect change. If you don't call for reforms, you cannot effect the change that you want. And I think you have seen it, this trance passing through all the presidents that are talking and the leaders that are here. You must call for reforms. And then transformation will come. You have a gender-neutral society resulting in a sustainable outcome where humanity sees each other as equals and not I am lesser or I am higher. This is what I would give you just as a tip. I want to invite all of you also to the Gambia. Under the leadership of Madam Bineta, to come and join the launch of the Gambia Aulin. I am inspired. I am very proud of you, and you can count on me and on the others that I represent. I'm here, but this is just a tip of the iceberg. I have a leader already, and we are mentoring them. You have Muna Jallo, who has taken up leadership and has started the process in the Gambia, and I am here to support her. And we are there, many of us, to ensure that Aulin Gambia is launched, and we are going to invite all of you. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. In the essence of respecting time, we're going to move forward. I would like to ask Madame Diop to come forward. We'd like to ask Madame Diop to come forward. We have some gifts that we would like to present to the high table. Thank you.
my role is just to present to Excellency the Africa Women Leaders Network books, and that talk about our journey, where we started in New York and in Addis Ababa, all of us, and continue for you leading us as the Howling Pioneers with Mama Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. So this is the first book, and I'm sure that as Madam Joyce Banda have said, we will have more books to come, the experience of women leaders to share with the young, the youth in this. So we wanted to give you the book. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We have another gift for Her Excellency Joyce Banda. And of course, to our champion, Mama Mongela. We can do better than that. Thank you very much. Let's give them a round of applause as they receive their books and their gifts, please. Thank you very much, and of course, thank you very much. Women leadership is moving. Wow. Clap your hand, please. Thank you very much. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Daktari Samia Suluhu Hassan, Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Kwa kweli leo tumejifunza mambo mengi sana katika mkutano huu. Tumejifunza mambo mengi mno. Leo tumesikia hapa vigogo hawa wa Afrika wakituambia kwamba leadership is not about position, but leadership is about what you do and you work on. Kwa hiyo tunashukuru kwa kujifunza, lakini pia Mheshimiwa Daktari Samia akasema kwamba young leaders is not for tomorrow, but is for the now. Young leaders is for now. Thank you very much. Sasa tunakwenda kwenye session ya picha, na katika session hii ya picha we have only 4 pictures. The first picture will be the high table, and the second one will be high table and UN team. The third one, high table and the representative of youth leaders of the countries. And the fourth one, it will be the high table and Howling Pioneers. So
You are welcome. Wapiga picha wote tafadhali kwa ajili ya picha zetu nzuri. Picha za viongozi wetu, picha za kumbukumbu, picha za mkutano mkubwa kama huu ambao umeshirikisha marais wanawake kutoka barani Afrika kote. Kwa kweli ni jambo kubwa sana. Tupate picha zetu za kumbukumbu kwa kuanza na picha ya meza kuu. Makofi tafadhali. Next, high table with the UN team. UN team, just join with the high table to have a very beautiful picture. Next picture for the African Union team and the high table. African Union team with the high table.
ni wakati wetu. SNTV Online, huu 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 ni wakati wetu.